fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. Hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
What people do in no money, what they at you in no at you. Covid money miss away in the year look at you. Use the youth the money waste for most of the statue. Say me like a catch you, but they got in a figure you. Take the skin from money gal and say that is not you. One day the man above end up in my gut up. Too much eating at the kitchen, some a fly by like a patu. My singers and DJs and social media's coming at you.
It burn me.
300% raise.
It burn me.
Garbage pile up the day.
It burn me.
Give the teacher them raise.
It burn me.
I see corruption face.
It burn me.
Mash down the people them house.
It burn me.
Every day appear arms out.
It burn me.
Appear money them a thief.
It burn me.
And them a sell out the beach.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
Come me say big up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The urgent the promises, none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth, they rap and they down in our fever. Member bold money and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them swell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell, go mash up people start like thief when them sell.
It burn me.
Or they treat the market man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the cat man.
It burn me.
Or they treat the peanut man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the dirt man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the son man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat policeman.
It burn me.
Or them a treat soldier man.
It burn me.
How them a treat everyone.
Can't fool me again.
Stibbidim day, stibbidim day, stibbidim day. We in Global TV says certain kind of friend we no cape. And some informer friend we lovely. We in Global, bona fake friend and bona tape. We in Global, we not promote them, we not support them. Look at them on the cheek, come here represent for. We in Global TV, check it.
If you know anything about Jamaica, you know it's always popping off there. Something is always in the news. So it is not a strange thing for Jamaica to be in an integrity crisis, heavily defended, heavily criticized. But on the international scene, from fighting drug addiction, testifying in the Blood Diamond case, kicking and boxing around her helper, kicking, shoving, and boxing Usher around, Naomi Campbell is back in the news again. And this time, Miss Campbell has played dangerously with charity money. Call Andrew Holness and Wilfred Rattigan. We're going to talk about the regulations of charity and how it's important to make sure charity money is being spent for charitable purposes. Good evening and welcome, everyone. Thank you all for joining us. Like and share the live, please. Welcome, welcome one and all to my community party and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, viewers, subscribers, commenters, and trolls. Good evening, everyone. How are you? Sending out love to our very own Patricia Matthews. Get well soon, my sis. Get well. Debbie Jarvis TV, good evening. Marcia Thomas, Sharon Dakers, Look at TV, RJ, Beat and Teach, Sunshine. Elvis Foster, Wagwan Cause. I see McCullough, Norma McKenzie, Ladybug, Jim Ashley. Sharon Bernard, Young DT World, Brenda Elson, Rosemary Samuels, Don Fox, Carly Jones, Kanai Gray, Tash. Good evening, everyone. Good evening and welcome, Raymond G. How are you all? Good evening. Thank you all for joining us this evening. I am a boy. I am big. See my name here. My name is Roy. You literally cannot tell Roy that's not his name. If Roy believes that's his name, then that is Roy's name. But it's literally the approach of the Jamaica Labour Party and Andrew Holness supporters to the IC report. Kate M., how are you? Laura Mark. It is literally the I am a boy, I am big approach to the Integrity Commission report. Because nobody in the Labour Party who is staunchly defending the Prime Minister seems to understand. I wonder if I talk slow, they will understand that the Prime Minister has been referred for investigation of financial crimes. Not even financial mismanagement, financial crimes. How you can understand that? Or how you can see that as a problem? If you can accept that Keisha say we're not sure if him they lie about the account, then even when Keisha say him have put money through them, Keisha say, all right, we're not sure if him willfully lie to it or him jokingly lie to it. We're not sure about that, said Keisha. Wanna lap up that? Wanna hold that on the choke that to the world? Keisha said, him not no case to answer. Colonel Charles, I'm going to play it, I'm going to hear later on, is saying that what the IC is referring to FID didn't reach the threshold for it to go before the IC prosecutor. A la Colonel Charles study, isn't it? Pernell, if the IC have not completed the investigation on illicit enrichment, and they're inviting Colonel Charles, a body with jurisdiction that can question and probe the Prime Minister about financial crimes. Why do you think that would have gone before the IC prosecutor if they need further investigation to come to a determination? Oh, I don't understand. I really don't understand the backward thinking of these people and how they are allowed to get away with the nonsense when they utter out of their mouth in a public. But these people expect you to believe them in Parliament when they speak or when they speak to you on public podium. And them sit down in our Parliament and them deliberately lie to us mislead us, threatening us, because Colonel Charles' behavior, it's tantamount to threat to the IC. Barbara over on Facebook, how are you? Brand Roddock, Artnell Reid. Colonel Charles' behavior is tantamount to threat to the IC. And this is the integrity crisis in our country. They are easy. Well, go on. This is the integrity crisis in our country, where nobody in the Jamaica Labour Party is able to stand on merit to say, based on the Integrity Commission report, the Prime Minister's integrity has become very questionable because of the grave question mark, Carlos, over the Prime Minister's credibility. It is no longer tenable for our Prime Minister to continue leading the party, one, for the betterment of the party and for the greater good of the country. You mean say no can write that statement there and say it, make the country say, yes, this one have some integrity. You mean none of you? Come on now. I mean, one of you must can rise from the ash. Grow like an ambition overnight. Vomit, get it out for your chest. And try come out here and be respectful men and women. I don't know where it's going with the Jamaica Labour Party supporters and those Jamaica Labour Party MPs in Parliament. I really don't understand where it's going, because it doesn't look good for the country when a Prime Minister asset cannot be verified. He cannot explain it. Because if he could explain it, it would have been verified. Based on the report, your Prime Minister is likely committing various different criminal activities or financial crimes. This is serious for any country, to have a Prime Minister which is this caught up. It is not good for the country. But what is worse is to see how everybody is falling over the Prime Minister to support him, even when they cannot explain themselves in public. Listen to this Labour senator.
Meaning an investigation has been conducted, a report has been completed, and a report has been tabled. That signals the end of investigation. That's what the Act tells us. The report does not indicate at any point in the report that this is an interim report, which they would have the ability to submit to Parliament under Section 36. What we have is the end of an investigation and a report detailing the findings and recommendations coming out of that investigation. To ask the Parliament, there are two things. To ask the Parliament, one, to support their referring a completed report, a report on a completed investigation to another body, is inappropriate for two reasons. Parliament has no such authority. The Parliament can't go around referring people for investigation. That is not within any of the powers of any of the 63 parliamentarians. And secondly, Having landed the report, tabled the report in Parliament, the only thing that the Director of Investigations or the Integrity Commission can do is refer it to their Director of Corruption Prosecution for a ruling as to whether or not the declarant is to be prosecuted. There is no further action to take on it. They have sent a report to Parliament, meaning an investigation has been conducted, a report.
She don't know what she attacks, eh? Me don't know what she attacks, eh? Me don't know if Ono know what she attacks, but she sound very confused. But one thing I'm going to enlighten for her. Parliament, the IC, did not ask Parliament to refer Anjo. They asked Parliament to support their referral. It's a different thing from where I talk about, lady. Don't understand where I talk about. Every time when I open on the mouth, I become confused because I know myself confused. But I have to keep reminding you. Parliament never asked Parliament, the IC never asked Parliament to refer Anjo to FID. They asked Parliament to support the IC referral of Anjo to FID. I saw it go. All right? Write it down off of the board before me rub it off. I saw it go, man. Not how you know tie up on a foot and I confuse on yourself with it. It really don't go so. You could have repeated it 1,000,000 times. You yourself now go believe it because when you put your head on your pillow at night time, every night on the go, I know so I tell lie, you know. On a heart beat before you go sleep, but on just in a mentality where on live a lie so on can't be honest, but make a break from them and talk about life. We are aware of tropical storm Helene moving across the southwest. It took a lot of rain on Jamaica. I think this is from Alligator Pond region. I'm not 100%, but I think. And it has caused a problem with power lines in Black River as well, which I think is dangerous and life-threatening given we're still in the middle of the storm season. We know so where the JPS just walk and patch way up, so there huge risk ongoing.
See the current situation in Black River. See that burn off there? A fire that, you know? Fire they are going, you know? See their fire. Yes, peeps, current situation in Black River. The light wire is under fire right now. See there? JPS, where are you? Step up to the game. Problem there, Black River, peeps. See there? The look on the seat. See there? Current situation in Black River. See that burn off there? A fire that, you know? Fire they are going, you know? See their fire.
It is certainly not a good look, and one of the problem is with public service, them is so shoddy that we cannot depend upon them. We're in some very shoddy predicaments. Very, very shoddy predicaments. But in all that, you have the Jamaica Labour Party trusting themselves over how Idi Amin, not even Idi Amin, President Botha, because Andrew Holness is a apartheid dictator. Apartheid, even though them not shed with blood. But how me forgot that when Horace Chan carrying so much gun power. Apartheid in a few countries under classes system, under colorism system. That's the apartheid we have in Jamaica. With certain class, and if you're a certain color, God Almighty help you. So no go on like apartheid now in Jamaica, especially under this current government. We've always been under apartheid by both political parties because there are so many different Jamaica. The Jamaica will commit crime and don't go to prison. The Jamaica will allow to commit crime with impunity. The Jamaica will allow to have bank account more than toes and fingers. The Jamaica will allow for jail resources. The Jamaica will allow not to have nothing out of higgling and vendoring. Yeah. We have so much different part of Jamaica. You just have to choose which part you don't want to live. Choose which part you don't want to live. Let us remind the voters, come next general election, those who should be persecuted and a stake with Andrew Holness.
That I stand in full support
of the best Prime Minister
since 1962.
Is the man of integrity, love,
And I am very lucky to have an outstanding Prime Minister, a leader that we can be so proud of.
The transformation. I just gave away 87 black tanks.
Is the best we have had. Southwest St. Elizabeth is in full support. Ladies first. Of
the most honorable, I should say, Dr.
Andrew Michael Holness.
How could I not support a leader who is moving Jamaica forward?
Andrew Holness, continue to be the leader you are.
And I'll do everything in my powers to ensure that he
lead until he is ready to go.
I don't know how to
Prime Minister and party leader, Andrew Holness.
The
I
state.
don't know how to favor and the donkey where Andrew did buy. Give Dan, who irritate me more. But those two donkey irritate me. And I don't know if a favor irritate me more. Or the donkey with Andrew Holness and with the half dead man the name J.C. Hutchinson did make up and buy Gideon. But on a side note, Parliament must stop the game playing. We know Sir Mike Henry dead, We know it's not a secret. Listen, I don't know secret Sir Mike Henry dead. Right now, if you ring out Mike Henry Pampas, you can't full a whole river. There is no reason every sitting of Parliament who now call Mike Henry name pan roll call. Who do you expect to answer? Talk truth. Who do you expect to answer? When was the last time Mike Henry have any active participation in politics? And every day with Parliament get up and then call Mike Henry name pan the roll call. Mike Henry, pick your casket, please. I mean, pick your casket. The older we are got dead, Mike Henry, but pick your casket. This is the lie that them allow for tell we every day. And have we money appear a dead man pan bed. Appear a dead man pan bed, you know. To represent people in Jamaica. As so you know, say, Jamaica people, until we wake up, we don't deserve better. If a whole constituency can have a dead man, but then again, when me talk about, at least Mike Henry dead pan bed, Shiny Robinson dead in a grave. In a grave, Shiny Robinson dead, you know. And not his sentence, people still a vote for Shiny Robinson. Then how Jamaica people expect a government with integrity? Now, you know, tell me, why Andrew should have gone better? When we vote for dead Shiny, we vote for dead Mike Henry, and all of them something there. How do we expect better from people like Andrew Holness when we're prepared as people to vote for Mike Henry, to vote for Shiny Robinson? You see, we are create with most of the problem. And we create most of the problem, you know. And we willfully put a lot of these people there who have not done anything for a lifetime. But we repeatedly put them there. And then as a country, we want better. We really want better as a country. But before we go to Pernell Charles, I could turn to Andrew Holness and Rattigan when it comes to charity. Charity is something where all of we can publicly scrutinize, yes? The law makes certain stipulation when you register an organization as a charity especially for tax purposes. And one of the things you're charged with is to administer and manage that charity properly. Be able to account for donation, not be using donation in Andrew Holness's case to buy bond and things like that. So the Jamaican actress Naomi Campbell is been banned from being a trustee on her very own charity because of the mismanagement and misappropriation of charitable funds. This is how serious charity money is being taken, especially when you register. And this is in England. The IRS is even more cahoots about charity. Andrew Holness might get away with his because of our corrupt system. But for those of you in the US, be careful, I beg, of how you use charity. Naomi has always been in the news, but this time she's not a victor or a winner, you know. She's not a victor or a winner because using charity money, Miss Campbell, to live your expensive lifestyle, then it's really not acceptable. And you, Miss Campbell, you should not know because you've always been having rockers and tatters with the law. Always. So I don't know how come you think you as somebody, Miss Campbell, who has always, my 25 year in this country, Naomi Campbell has never been out of the spotlight. Whether she hype on drugs, whether she hype on Charles Taylor Diamond, whether she a kick on box or helper, whether she a kick on Tom Usher about the place, Naomi Campbell has always been in the spotlight. But this time, Miss Campbell, you played it very wrong. Very dangerous, Miss Campbell. I hope you're not back into drug addiction again, you know, darling. And I hope you not use charity money. I hope you not use charity money to fund your drugs habit. But wait a minute. Hey, your friend them a hug up. Call leeching with the wash pan. I say call leeching with the brush pan. Blue soap leeching, blue soap leeching. Leeching with the blue soap. Leeching with the wash pan. I wonder if you get nobody to come help. I wonder if no hole in the wash pan where you ask nobody to solder it. Anybody remember soldering? Anybody remembers soldering? With hole in your wash pan and you know have tar figure dig off a road top hole. The welder man what we call soldering will come through the district. Solder the wash pan. Leeching with the blue soap. Leeching with the scrubber board. Leeching with the bleach. Come wash some money for me. Leeching with the wash pan. Washing brush, scrubber board, blue soap and bleach. Leeching. Leeching where walking up in empty bank account. The dopey drop money in the leeching. Leeching with the wash pan. Scrubber board and brush. Back in the days, leeching. You're not even up to date with the money with the washing machine and them something they need a top load and a front load of leeching. You're still the riverside with the scrubber board because it's all ghetto, you know, leeching. The way it's coming out, your bank is a ghetto sluss. Don't bother think you honest all our one, you know, leeching. You are not honest. The Coscrails, when you want to come sue me, because here so no one can drop money, turn up high, overleaching bank, overleaching wash pan, you SSL club. Way overleaching wash pan on a turn up and just oops, drop the money in the wash pan. None of we don't see it because be a criminal or roll around with criminals in suits and ties. White collar crime. You notice they're all except for the nice little boy Nigel Clark, who they have findled and fondled over time and make them almost worse as them, or Wasara you wants to call them. Wasara. The fact that you're going off to the IMF, Nigel, to commit more crime against black people doesn't mean that you're still not under our probe. Leaching could and sell till he sell and wash, bleach. Starch. How about starching them after you wash them, leaching? How about the starching? Because when them come from over SSL, them crumple up. Leaching and SSL must be also scrutinized as per what came out of the Integrity Commission report. Because if Prime Minister can just open empty account and bird fly over leaching bank and drop money in it from SSL. I mean, the British teach them, because the British used to send pigeon from Yasso with message all the way to France or all them places upon the front line. Yeah. So maybe the British pigeon them fly over leaching wash pan, drop the money. And because leaching was washing at the same time, leaching just continue to wash. I said, backside. Then I want empty account this where Andrew open. We could just throw it over there, so. Because you say, leader for the country. Nobody now got think for the leader for the country in any bangarang and butos. No, sir. But leaching and the SSL lot, they are to be scrutinized as well. If our enforcement people can pluck it up, in them to scrutinize them, we the public out here must scrutinize them. We the public out here must scrutinize them. Because the report tell us it, and just shoddy money dealing and shady money dealing involve leaching and SSL. I know we are making it up, the report says it. So if the report says so, we can't talk about it, because they can come sue if they say, defamation. How they figure say defamation? And the report says it, so we can develop further upon it and ask question, how big is leaching wash ban? Who else in our parliament is leaching washing money for? What happened to for Nigel money them leaching because Zara Burton said money just have woof so through Nigel's account? Who else is leaching what and beneficial to in our politics? Open charitable politics. Open foundation as not coming up politics because that's one of the appeared to be legal source of money laundering is running through on a crooked charities and foundation. So to you know all take a rent SUV, you know all take buy bond, you know all take pay what's it rather you want to do with it, but not for what the charity or not for what you tell the government say they're going to use it for charity. Leaching ought to be under the microscope. How much account Andrew Holness have in a leaching bank? I wonder. You know these big jugs bus. You notice after the bus, it always just got dust. Chanel Williams, thank you. You notice after these big jugs bus, it always turned to dust. Not a thing, not a word from a soul. We never hear where anything go or how it turn out. But we hear that people have money where they can't talk about. We hear that people have asset with them friend yaso, asset with them friend deso. Let's listen to some of the threats Colonel Charles or the intimidation Colonel Charles directed to the IC.
Chairman, if we ought not to be calling the IC before us to discuss the matter, to really investigate and determine, is this a matter of malicious prosecution, where clearly you see the inclusion of things intended to harm the declarant rather than to seek justice. These are matters that we have to explore, because it is highly inappropriate, in my view, for an investigation to be completed and for there to now be an effort to redetermine the matter. Section 7 of the Integrity Commission Act speaks directly to cooperation between other bodies and agreement and arrangements, and it allows the Commission in the performance of its functions to cooperate with any person or body that it may deem appropriate, including those bodies that it is now seeking to redetermine this matter, that it itself has concluded. It's either that the IC is turning against itself, or that you have a situation here that is exposing itself as being a matter of corruption. And I must tell you, I am very concerned, because as a nation, if we intend to address corruption, Mr. Chairman, we must ensure that those with the primary responsibility are not including any contaminated or corrupt operation in that effort. And I speak very seriously on it, boldly.
Yes, before we get back to that idiot, yeah. Up to last month, no, not last month, in a June, July, one of my cousins at Jamaica, in a leaching bank of Black River, over $1 million just get whoosh out our account, so in a 3 different transaction. And it take her a tussle of about 2 months with leaching bank to get back our money. And today they still can't explain to her where our money go. Leaching can't explain to customers, because when we watch over the internet, it's a regular thing. It's a regular thing where people money just get drained out of NCB without any investigation from NCB or any outcome of their money. The same leaching. If we did have fairness and justice in Jamaica, all of them people would have under the probe at the moment, because Andrew Holness cannot commit so much crime on his own.
This is laden with procedural irregularities. And I hear Member Paulwell saying that it has never been done. That is a weak argument in relation to addressing this matter that relates to our Prime Minister, who has been subjected to the most extensive and the most expensive
So what if it's extensive?
investigation. And we must be very clear in ensuring that as a matter of law and principle, what is done here must be done with fairness at the forefront. Chairman.
Based on what we know, Colonel Charles, Andrew Holness haven't been working for the people of Jamaica. Andrew Holness been running his companies, many of them, walk and thief and commit crime, and study degree at the same time. No president or prime minister that is elected to run any country can take on so much personal issue of them own to deal with, so much personal ambitions. When you enter as a leader for your country, your personal ambition and sole ambition is to lead the country, not to be running business over here, not to be pursuing doctoral over here. No, we did not elect you for that. You don't have a fucker time for that then. No, you just don't. So Andrew Holness haven't been doing anything for the people of Jamaica forever. He has been running his companies. He has been pursuing his educational career. So why then hang on to power for no reason at all when you have not done anything for us? You have not used it. You've tricked us. I don't see the point of hanging on. You weren't doing anything anyway. You've made it bigger than most. What's the point of holding the country to ransom? I don't get it. I really don't get that holding the country to ransom bit, because you were never doing anything from the start. I mean, you were looking after your businesses, lots of them, from St. Lucia to Jamaica. You're pursuing degree in America. I mean, come on, Prime Minister. I mean, you have a lot of things to do. You're a young boy. You're just 52. You can go on to do many other things. Leave without a man. Jesus Christ.
Before us today is the ruling on the one matter that the Director of Investigation advanced to the Director of Corruption Prosecution. And I read, the Commission's Director of Corruption Prosecution has, pursuant to the provisions of the Integrity Commission Act, inclusive of the aforementioned sections 54.3b and 54.4 of the Act, and sections 34.1a and 34.1b thereof, reviewed the subject investigation report and has ruled that, open quotation, upon careful consideration, it was determined that no charges are to be laid, close quotation. Why is it?
You remember where we first heard that open and close quotation? Can somebody remind me where we first heard that open and close quotation? But an Integrity Commission leaked the report. Go back to George Davis's broadcast on CVM. No, not on CVM. He did that broadcast for Nationwide. Go back to George Davis's broadcast for Nationwide. That was the first place we got the quote from Keisha, the Prince Kamika, they call her. But yet still I see do the leaking. How much of what was leaked will you say come out identical as them tell it to CVM and Nationwide? It's not just that this government doesn't have integrity. The country cannot be seen as a country of integrity given the current and ongoing circumstances and crisis in leadership, which Jamaica is in another open constitutional crisis because it's a crisis of leadership. Andrew Holness cannot continue to lead, and nobody else in the Jamaica Labour Party is qualified to lead based on their aiding and abetting and conspiracy to the Prime Minister's crime. I could finish listening to the fool.
That in the motion that has been advanced, you hear no reference to what the Director of Corruption Prosecution has determined further to examination of what has been placed before her. The other matters that are discussed in the report were not even sufficient to be advanced to the Director of Corruption Prosecution for.
That's not correct, Colonel Charles. It's absolutely not correct. They cannot, the illicit enrichment, Colonel, they cannot bring it to the prosecutor because the investigation is not finished. The expertise of FID is required. The expertise of TAJ is required for the illicit enrichment to be completed. What Keisha ruled on, Colonel Charles, was whether Andrew willfully lied about the bank accounts or not. That's how it ought to be read based on how it's written on paper, Colonel Charles. I'm not talking about our perception, belief, or support. Just read it for what it is. It's simple.
Determination. But now we want to tell Jamaica that we must drag a declarant, regardless of who the declarant is, through a whole new redetermination because you have failed before you completed your investigation to do your job. And I tell you, Mr. Chairman, what happens to one can happen to another. There are matters that have come before the Integrity Commission and the then Contractor General that I will raise at another place to remind members and to remind those that are making much ado of this and trying to extend it to a place where it ought not to go, of what occurred when they were the ones on trial. So, Mr. Chairman, I think that as a matter of procedure, and when you examine the process, we have no choice but to ensure that before this goes any further or anywhere else, that some questions are answered as it relates to the process, the procedure, and what I see as an unfortunate effort to extend this in an inappropriate way. There are legal principles.
Me not listen to your legal principle because quoting legal principles doesn't mean that you're talking anything sensible. I mean, legal principles are there for us who understand how to quote them. For us who want to use them as a defense in our argument, use them. But also, Colonel Charles, when a legal principle is used uselessly and wildly, it serves no purpose. All right? Damn set of teeth. Who else will have to look upon? That fool, yeah. We beat and teach them. Please, dear sir. Okay. You said the IC delay in certifying Andrew Holness. Can I look like the PNP them? Not the PNP them, the Labour right them promised the youth or something. Because from what him come out and him behave done like the Labour right them. I not ask him to be PNP, but you in the news be an objective Jamaican. You said the IC actions was unlawful. When you come out and say these things, try to point out to us the law or the IC break, because on like to use the law to try to shut up people, to silence people, or to fool people. But when you come out and use the law, be able to explain what part of the law you talk about or refer to, or which part of the law breach. and so on. Just don't come out and make the whole heap of nines sometime we don't make no sense. Please, I beg. The end of the day is the Prime Minister has been caught by his own doing. Nobody is setting up Andrew Holness. It's not like that. Me no one don't want it to be sold like that to the world. The world cannot sell something like this because it is simply not true. It is Andrew Holness's duty to make sure him asset and him finances match up together. If they don't match up, and the Prime Minister cannot explain it, obviously it's going to spark investigation. The British Prime Minister, who only there for about 10, 11 weeks now, is sitting in a very hot seat. He took £100,000 worth of gifts and failed to declare it. And that's what he's been dragged down for at the moment. We're talking about millions and millions with Andrew. We're talking about 28 bank accounts where we never hear before. Coming on know if 4 or 8 couldn't hold with 28 hold. How much account him need to have? How much account each company needs to have? But ask yourself, how could Andrew Holness do the work of the people of Jamaica when Andrew Holness spends so much time on his personal business? Nowhere in any democracy this would be acceptable, where a prime minister, rather than looking after the job of the nation, is pursuing his business and educational career. Jamaica is a special place, very special place.
For maintaining 28 bank accounts, a figure Knight described as excessive for a sitting prime minister.
One would need to have 28 accounts if one was involved in businesses. You can't run a country and run private business at the same time. It's one or the other.
Knight was commenting on broader issues about the Prime Minister's financials, which have recently come to the fore among allegations in the Integrity Commission's latest report to Parliament. One such allegation is a potential conflict of interest, where Holness is accused of appointing his business partner as chair of 2 public bodies under his jurisdiction.
The report raises significant issues. I believe the inquiry of the FID must look at money laundering as well and conspiracy.
The Integrity Commission has faced pushback from some interest groups following its referral to the FID and the TAJ concerning millions in transactions and a $94,000 bond. Speaking on CVM's lead story Thursday, Executive Director of the Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal JAMP, Jeanette Calder, endorsed the move.
What they are saying to the people of Jamaica is that we have gone as far as the powers that government has given us can. What we need now, since Mr. Holness is saying this and we have evidence saying that, we now have to hand this thing over to another investigative body that has gotten what? Even more powers than we have to pull back the veil.
Some in government have described the ongoing probe as a witch hunt, viewing the IC's latest report as vindication. However, Principal Director of the National Integrity Action, NIA, Daniel Archer, is of a different view.
One of the things the report highlights is private real estate dealings with Norman Brown, who chairs both the UDC and the Housing Agency of Jamaica. If it is that there are private dealings between the Prime Minister and this gentleman, it now brings into question any decision that would have been made in respect of land.
The JLP continues to rebuff claims of wrongdoing, with the Prime Minister allegedly threatening a defamation suit following Thursday's PNP press briefing. Amid the furore, JAMP is warning against attacks on the IC's commissioners.
The government of Jamaica has done an amazing job, I think, in picking the people, regardless of what others have tried to make others believe. Just go and look at who are the 5 commissioners and how they have served this country. There's not one taint. Let the process go to its natural end. You are a part of designing this process. Let it be finished so that we can clear you good and proper.
Ramon Gordon, for CV, at an explosive.
Calder basically said, you create it. Why you afraid of it? You create it. Why you don't want it to do its job if it includes you? Why you don't want them to do their job and the wholeness? If you don't have anything to fear, Prime Minister, if you do not have anything to fear, Prime Minister, you certainly shouldn't have anything to hide. Because if there's nothing to fear, where are you going to have a hide, Prime Minister? You should have can show it up to everybody in a public and say, see there, I pledge to you before I come into this government that I will stand against corruption. Under no circumstances I'm going to let my government be fooled by corruption. Can Andrew Holness say that this evening?
We don't feel comfortable sitting in Parliament with a Minister of Government who has openly accepted responsibility, who expresses no regret for the act, where a Commissioner of Parliament has confirmed that the act is corrupt and has referred it for prosecution, and that minister shows no sign of wanting to resign, or the Prime Minister showing no signs of moving to dismiss the minister.
With all the sympathy that one can have for support, this is embarrassing. Not only to the government as a party, not only the PNP, but to the government, to Jamaica, to all of us. Our heads bow this morning with this sort of reaction to it.
So we have to take firm actions in this regard. It is a dark day for Jamaica, where the Prime Minister is unwilling or afraid to act against a minister in which the public has lost total confidence and in which the institutions of the society are all agree that this person does not enjoy their trust or faith and has breached the confidence that the people have placed in them. I believe that this has the potential, if it continues, to bring down the entire government.
Now, man, believe you me, them a try. Because me don't feel too well, me not read a lot, so me over Twitter just a follow the nonsense. My God. The labor rights, they're having a meltdown over Twitter, you know. Cause Myrna Wagwan, you just come when we soon done. Want me, you have to go watch from the start. How on the rain? Me hear a party full of water. How on the rain? But the meltdown over Twitter, my God have mercy. They are even warring with themselves over the fact. You see anybody come up in a them box over Twitter as a labor right, you can't speak objective, you know. You can't speak based on the true wording of the report. Where you say plenty water, How high catch on it? Come up to near or so on yet or it not so high? And is it still raining? You can go up in them box over Twitter, and have an objective view based on the wording of the report. You cannot do it if you're not going up in them box and play a dear leader role and go to a full support to Andrew Holness as them own labor right, them beat down one another, say them a PNP or say them a fool. This is the approach over there. The way how some of these people falling over themselves. Over TikTok. The way how these people falling over themselves to defend the indefensible. Oh, not so high. It tells you where we are as a people when you look upon blatant corruption, mismanagement, misuse, and you go in all sort of circle to make up a defense for the prime minister. It is where our country is at, people. And I'm appealing to Jamaicans to take a stand on this issue, not a PNP stand, a Jamaica stand. We need to shift away from the political diehardism and move towards the country. The reason why it is all going off around us, happening to us, not benefiting us, not serving us or our interests, or anything designed for the foregoing to develop our generations. Nothing of the sort. Every political cycle is more corruption. You lost weight of counting PNP corruption. You lost space of counting labor right corruption. But my God, under this prime minister, we've never seen a prime minister that is so highly caught up in many different financial questionability at the same time. The prime minister character is very, very, very questionable. That alone makes the prime minister's job untenable. He cannot continue under this cloud. The country needs true and honest leadership. The prime minister has been lying to the country deliberately, we know now, for over a year. What else Andrew Holness says that isn't a lie? That is the question. What else that Andrew Holness says that isn't a lie? But now take my medication, them and go lay down. Thank you all for being here tonight. Continue to support the program so that we can continue to do the people's work. Colin said them what did put themselves at the forefront, come off of the people work, what them call themselves mainstream media. But we are dedicated to making sure the people are informed and that governments and their operatives do not continue to fool the people. Because if we don't wake out our slumber, they are only going to benefit more by us staying in our slumber. Thank you all very much for being here tonight. Make sure you support the program and join us right back here tomorrow for your At a Glance program. Good night from Global TV.
We don't feel comfortable sitting in Parliament with a Minister of Government who has openly accepted responsibility, who expresses no regret for the act, where a Commissioner of Parliament has confirmed that the act is corrupt and has referred it for prosecution, and that Minister shows no sign of wanting to resign, or the Prime Minister showing no signs of moving to dismiss the Minister.
With all the sympathy that one can have for support, this is embarrassing, not only to the government as a party, not only the PNP, but to the government, to Jamaica, to all of us. Our heads bow this morning with this sort of reaction to it.
So we have to take firm actions in this regard. It is a dark day for Jamaica, where the Prime Minister is unwilling or afraid to act against a minister in which the public has lost total confidence and in which the institutions of the society are all agreed that this person does not enjoy their trust or faith and has breached the confidence that the people have placed in them. I believe that this has the potential, if it continues, to bring down